Alright guys, so I've got my new gadget in my car, ready to go. I've got it on my dash. I actually have a dash I can attach one to, which is really cool. Yeah, no filter. I wear these because even though I've got, oh, that's filthy. Even though I've got that blind spot in the middle of this eye and no vision in this one, it still helps me see from distance when I'm driving, because of the center spot is for like when I see something in the center, so I can still see around that, which enables me to drive. But it's better for me because it's light sensitive. It's better for me when, oh, I don't have my microphone in there. Oh, well, that sucks. It's better for me when I'm not moving. Shoot, I meant to wear my microphone. It's better for me when it's overcast because it's light sensitive. Like when it's sun shining out, everything's like a big glare. I'm actually on my way to Walmart to pick up a Walmart order because we needed some essentials like dog food, cat food, all that good stuff. But yeah, so I'm getting on here because in the last video I told you guys I was making breakfast for my daughter, so I made her some pancakes and some veggie sausage and a banana, and she ate every bit of it. It's the only time I can get her to eat a banana is if I mash it in something or if I cut it up with pancakes. She'll eat it then. But if I leave it on her plate to eat, she won't eat it. I don't know why. Okay, so I wanted to update you guys on the Social Security thing. So I can't show you the actual packet because I'm going to go by and drop this off at the Social Security office, because it is all my medical records, and it's got my personal information on the front. But it's all my medical records from my eye doctor, my eye specialist, because I actually called and got through to somebody. I never get through to her whenever I'm calling her. And because of that, nobody ever calls me back. I've called and leave messages all the time, and they never call me back. And the paperwork said, call if you can't make the appointment, or call if you have any questions. Well, I always get the voicemail, and if I don't get the voicemail is overly full and packed. Oh, it's going to be shaking, I guess. Is overly full and packed. So, anyway. So she said that, I told her, I said, well, my doctor emailed you or faxed you the information that you requested on, I have to double check everything, on the 4th of April and on the 6th of April and on the 24th of April. And she said, well, they probably just haven't gotten to it yet, so the appointment still stands for me to go to their eye doctor in July, the middle of July, guys. It's like, I don't want to have to wait another 2 months. I can't keep paying, I can't keep borrowing money to pay my bills. There's cars here. Goodbye. Hello, I'm going by. He's on the wrong side of the road. They're doing somebody's yard. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm gonna, since I got a hold of her, she's the senior caseworker, but they're always so mean, and I know they're going through a rough time, guys, and I take that in consideration. So I am sugar sweet when I talk to them, because I want them to approve my case, right? I don't want to piss anybody off, so I'm super nice. She said, well, they probably just haven't, it's been a month since my doctor, or a month and a half since my doctor faxed in the first time, and a month since they faxed it in the second time. So because of that, they went ahead and scheduled their eye doctor for me to go see in downtown Chattanooga on a Wednesday, which I can't get a ride for on a Wednesday. I can get a Tuesday or a Thursday, but I can't get a ride on a Wednesday. So I marked it as no. I will not be able to do that appointment because I cannot get a ride on a Wednesday. Because driving around Cleveland to and from someplace is wow. A bunch of trees came falling down and they're cutting them off to the side. That's probably what those guys were doing. So I have to look at everything around me because of the situation that I've got going on. And I know, y'all don't be scared for me. It's okay. I promise you. I would not take this chance. I didn't drive for a year before I had the surgery on this eye, but my eye is actually sharper than it was before I went into surgery. So I can tell you that it is sharper than it was. I just can't see colors. Everything, I see the red stop sign, and it's like a deep red, like I just came to a stop sign. It's a deep red, and so like it's where we at? And I can see the green lights and the red lights and the yellow lights, and I can see like the caution yellow signs, but everything else, like the roads and the trees, I mean, I can kind of see that they're green, only because I know that they're green, I think. But everything looks muted. Everything looks like different shades of gray. And I'm sure that's got a lot to do with the way that the UV rays hit it. Of course, it's a little overcast right now. There's supposed to be storms. That's why I want to get all this done before the storms come. But anyway, so on the phone with her, yeah, she was kind of snippy, but she's always like that when I do get a hold of her. But I'll leave like 3 or 4 messages before I finally get a hold of her. Or I'll call, and like I like to call, I tried to call again last week and the mailbox was full. Anyway, which I get it. So I told her, I said, well, I've got a copy of my medical records from my eye specialist. I said, I'm going to go ahead and drop off a copy at my local Social Security office. I said, and I have a copy of my last visit. And I said, I've got an appointment with my doctor on the 18th of June. So I'm thinking, if I've got an appointment with my doctor on the 18th of June, why the hell would I go to their doctor in July? On the 13th of July. But anyway, she said the appointment stands until they look at, she said if they faxed it in, we just haven't gone over it yet. So because of all their cuts in the government and people getting laid off and all that, it's probably going to take longer than it normally would. And no, I did not get a lawyer. And everybody's been telling me, oh, you should go to a lawyer. It was an open and shut case. I'm telling you. Because of my eyes, because of my age and because of the situation. I'm 4 years away from early retirement. I have a legit disability. Like, legit disability. That is cold. Go ahead and go to Walmart. I think I'm going to go ahead and go by the post office and the Social Security office first. I got an hour. But anyway, so I've got a legit case. Now here's the thing. I don't know if I told you guys this or not. So I went through this whole rigmarole because, oh wow, when did they develop all that? I went through this whole rigmarole for 3 weeks. Once or twice a week for 3 weeks. To get prepared to donate plasma. That was going to be my backup extra income that I needed. It was going to be, the first month is $600, and after that it's between $400 and $500, between $400 and $450 a month for donating plasma. Plus somebody benefits from it because plasma is not something that can be reproduced, so it has to be donated. That's the only way they can get plasma, because they have not figured out a scientific way yet to reproduce it, which I wouldn't want something that was reproduced put into my body anyway. So here's the thing. Okay, so the first time I go to do the medical exam because I had to do the exam for the first time, and they're like, well, you're diabetic, so we have to get, and I told them I had neuropathy. You're diabetic. we need to get permission from your doctor. We need to have this paper filled out. Just say, here, I signed it, you signed it. You know, there's a witness here. We'll go ahead and we'll get your doctor to fill it out and fax it to us. She has to fax it to us. I said, okay. So I went to my doctor and dropped it off at her office that day. That was on a Thursday. She didn't fax it in until the following Wednesday. She said, oh, I didn't know it was, it needed to be done right away. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I found out she faxed it in, so I made another appointment. So I went back in and they said, well, here's the thing. We actually had another paperwork that we needed to have filled out by her because of your neuropathy. And so we went ahead and sent that in, and this is a week after she faxed in the first copy of for the diabetes. So she gave the okay for me to donate plasma, their neuropathy. I get 2 forms filled out, blah blah blah. So she filled it in, faxed it in. So she's like, the technician says, okay, so we have all the paperwork that we need. Now you'll need to schedule next week. We'll call you because the physician doesn't come in until next Tuesday. This was on a Thursday. The physician doesn't come in until next Tuesday, and they'll have to look over it to give the okay for you to go ahead and come in and we can finish your physical. Okay, no problem. And I'm driving to and from Chattanooga. Now granted, it's right off the interstate, so it's no big deal. It's not downtown or anything like that. It's something that's easy for me to get to. Okay. So I wait. So that Tuesday night, they call me. This is last week. They called me and said, okay, everything's filled out. Just go ahead and get online and schedule your appointment. We'll be glad to see you. We'll get you taken care of. You don't have to worry about a thing. System check. System's good. You don't have to worry about a thing, and we'll be ready to finish physical, and then you can give your first donation, $70. Okay, great. This is going to be my supplemental income since I can't work. Okay, so I go ahead and schedule an appointment for that Thursday. So this is 2 days later. So I go in that Thursday, and I have my appointment. 2 hours later, I'm going through all the rigmarole. You have to answer all these questions. They're very thorough. I highly recommend them. They're called BioLife. Of all the plasma places, I highly recommend them. They are very clean. They're very thorough. They make sure that you have not had, any kind of tattoos recently or been around sexual part. I mean, very thorough. I laughed when it said, do you think you might be pregnant? God forbid. It would be immaculate conception for one, and number two, I went through menopause like 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, and I'm going to be 58 in a couple of months, so yeah, just shoot me if I'm pregnant, because that would not help me. That would put me in the loony bin, definitely. Anyway, don't get me wrong, I love my babies. I wish I could have more babies when I was younger, but y'all know the story behind that. What is vibrating down here? Oh, my bottle. So anyway, so I went ahead and got the physical and everything done, and so it's like, okay, yeah, you're good to go. And first the guy gave me a hard time when I came in, and he said, how long ago did you eat? Because I want to make sure that you ate at least 2 hours before your appointment. So I'm like, okay. He said, well, what did you have? And I said, I had 2 pieces of dry raisin toast, and it was high protein dry raisin toast, and 3 pieces of veggie bacon and a banana and an apple. And he said, oh, you sure you got in enough protein? I said, yeah. I said, I'm vegan. Like I said, you have to say vegan. Nobody understands whole food plant-based. Are you sure you got enough protein in? I said, I promise you. And I said, I get tofu. I get plenty of protein, because all plants have protein. It's just some have more protein than others. Anyway, all plants have protein. So I get plenty of protein, and every time I've ever been tested and blood-wise, my protein has been in the normal range. So I'm not even worried. Even my B12 has been in the normal range. Everything's in the normal range. My A1C is now a 5.9. I'm so excited. But anyway, I know I'm ranting. So anyway, so I get through all that, and so then the guy he says, well, when we give you I did the head to toe thing. He did my test of my reflexes, had me lay on my back, listen to my chest. He did the whole exam, my breathing, everything's good. Stand up straight, touch your toes. And anyway, passed everything with flying colors, had all the paperwork in. I go, and he says, okay, we give you a bottle of water and we give you a snack before you start, for when you're done, so that way you can. And so he wanted to give me goldfish, and I said, I believe that has dairy in it. And he knew I'm whole food plant-based, because I could talk to him about it, because he was talking about the Adventist studies. I said, are you Adventist? He said, no. He said, but I know the Adventist studies have proven the Adventist, is one of the blue zones. The Adventists live longer because of their eating habits, because the ones that do eat meat don't only eat certain meats, and most of them are vegan or vegetarian. I said, yes. I was fourth generation Adventist, and I was raised in the church. Anyway, I'm not practicing Adventist, but I believe in what they teach. But anyway, so he said, okay. He said, yeah, this does have dairy. I said, well, I had gastric bypass surgery in 2000, and so even after that, I can't tolerate dairy very well. I said, it really does a number on my stomach, regardless of whether, I ate meat or not. Man, Taco Bell looks weird, all gray. It's weird. But anyway, so he puts the little fish crackers away, and he pulls out, he says, we also have this, and it was a beef jerky. I looked at her, I started smiling. He said, oh, but you don't eat meat. I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, but it's good that you have something, juice or snack or some kind of protein, afterwards. He said, you may feel queasy, whatever. And it's like, okay. So I said, well, what if I just bring my own? He said, yeah. He said, that'd be fine. We'll make the exception because of, your situation and your eating tolerances and that, whatever. Is that okay? Almost 2 hours later, after I get everything said and done, I did the questionnaire. They checked my protein, which was normal, my iron, which was normal, and anyway, and he said, so go ahead and get all that squared away. And then I go lay down, and she says, okay. He says, here's your card. Once you get done, we're gonna load the money on your card, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay. He said, do you have any questions? No questions. Everything was pretty much cut and dry. It's all, they explain it very detailed. So I go to lay down, and I give her my arm. She puts the blood pressure cuff on me. She goes to try to find a vein to stick, and guess what? I ain't got no stickable veins. So, and I drink a lot of water, so it's not from dehydration. They're just not plumped up. So she calls another technician over, and he says, do your hand like this, and do this, now do this, and do your arm like this, and he says, nope, no vein. So she said, honey, I'm sorry. I said, you won't be donating. I said, wait a minute, what? She said, I know. She said, after everything you just went through, she said, but we can't find a vein that we can stick for you to donate. I'm so sorry. I said, so what about the other arm? She goes, we need to be able to do both arms. She said, if I can't get one, she said, we can't do the other. And I went, ever? She said, yeah. So guess what? That was my backup plan to make some extra income. So I have hopped on the Etsy train. So now I've got, I'm doing Etsy like crazy. Well, not like crazy. I've been doing TikTok like crazy, and I'm going to start selling on the TikTok shop, and I've put some Etsy stuff down, and then I'm going to start putting more stuff on Facebook, and Facebook is where I've been putting a lot of stuff. And I had an inquiry for one of my sweaters. And she was like, oh, I would like to purchase this. Is it still available, or can you make another one like it? I said, yeah, it's still available. And I told her, I said, okay, it's $85, free shipping. It is still available. And she said, okay. She said, I need 5 pair. I said, 5 pair? I said, 5 pair? I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, I just have the one. They're all one of a kind. I said, and like I said before, I get my yarn from, you know, discounted or on sale. I don't. Swiss Alley parking, yes. I get my yarn either on sale or on clearance or a discount or whatever. And this was some old Karen cakes that I have made this sweater out of. It's a nice sweater. It's really pretty, and I think I've got one more cake left, but it took me almost 3 cakes to do this one sweater. So needless to say, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I wish I could. I said, I only have that one. Like I said, they're all one of a kind. And I said, I don't. And I do stitches different on every sweater because I change it up. I don't have a set pattern that I use. I use the basic and then I add to it. But anyway, so I said, you know, there's nothing that I can do. I'm so sorry. I can't make 5 of these. But I mean, you know, that would have been a little over $400. The way I figured it, it was like, that would have been a nice chunk of change. But I would have had to make 4 more, and I want to say it takes me about a week. If I stayed on it hard, I could probably a week per sweater. So, I mean, at $85, I'm really not making that much money on them, but I've got a lot of them made up, so I figured, you know, why not? So, but anyway, so that's my update that I have for you guys, and I thought it'd be really cool to try out this new holder. It didn't fall down, it didn't fall apart, it didn't break apart. I'm tickled. It worked out perfect. So I will get this up, and you might be seeing more of me now that I know that I can do this, because then I can talk to you guys while I'm driving. The thing that sucks though is I can't with YouTube. I have to compare YouTube to TikTok, because you can get away with a lot more stuff on TikTok, as far as like having music in the background, or a TV show in the background, or playing a video game in the background, or something like that. You have to be careful. Yeah, my covers. Yeah, my old job. I'm in the parking lot of my old job. Wish I could do that one again too. But anyway, all right, guys, I love you. Thank you for coming on my journey, and I'm going to end you right now because I know this has been long enough, and y'all stuck with me this far. Please subscribe. Give this a thumbs up. That helps my algorithms. Give me a comment. Just say hi. If you'd like to know any more, if you have any more questions, I can make another video about it. It's hard for me to reply to the comments because the little letters on my keyboard are so tiny, and it takes me a while I read your comments. It just takes me a while. And if you get a little heart from me, that means I was able to read your comment. I just have to dart my eye back and forth in order to read it because of the blank spot in the middle, which, anyway. So, hopefully I will see you guys shortly. Yeah. And I'll get this loaded, and I will see you soon. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for helping me pull this up. Share, please. Try to get more people to subscribe to me. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to get up there. My subscribers is good. It's my watch hours. I'm up to 318. I got to get 4,000, but I'm up to 318, so that's better than it was a few months ago. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm really gonna go. I keep saying that every time I get on here with you guys, but I feel like I can talk more. Anyway, I gotta go. I love you guys. Keep it real. Peace out.